Welcome to Gluten-Free Gourmet. Today I'm making fluffy gluten-free cinnamon rolls with a cream cheese frosting. A friend of mine shared this recipe with me and I'm so happy to be able to pass on the favor. I found it near impossible to find cinnamon rolls that don't come out too dense and doughy, but I can't get over how light and fluffy these are. I actually think they're lighter than the regular ones. So let's jump into it and I'll show you all the tips and tricks so that you can make the cinnamon rolls of your dreams. First, I want to get my yeast proofing. So I add the yeast and sugar to a bowl, and I just mix that up so everything's well incorporated. And then I add warm milk and butter. For the yeast, you want it between 110 and 115 degrees, which is just warmer than bath water basically. Then in a large bowl, I mix my dry ingredients, which are potato starch, brown rice flour, almond flour, tapioca flour, xanthan gum, baking powder, salt, and baking soda. This sounds like a lot of dry ingredients, and it is, but this is what makes your cinnamon rolls really fluffy. It's really the magic mix. By the time you've mixed your dry ingredients, your yeast should be proofed. So I'm just going to add 2 eggs to that yeast mixture. And then I'll add a neutral oil. I'm just using canola here. And good old vanilla. And I mix that up. Once that's done mixing, I slowly add my dry ingredients. And the dough is going to start looking kind of crumbly, but this is the important part as far as the texture of your dough. So you want to add all of the dry ingredients and keep it mixing for a good 1 to 2 minutes. And as you can see, it's gone from crumbly to slightly more stretchy looking, and it'll get real, almost look like it looks like it has gluten in it, but it's just real stretchy and sticky, and that's exactly what you want. Once your dough is mixed, you can drop it onto heavily greased parchment paper. This is how we're going to roll out the dough. It's a little bit different than your traditional way of rolling out cinnamon roll dough, but it's actually kind of fun. Make sure I get all the dough. You're gonna want more of these, trust me. And then I take another equally sized piece of parchment and spray that, and put the sprayed side on top of the dough. Here I'm just flattening it out to get it ready for rolling. And I actually doubled the original recipe, so I want a rectangle that's about 10 by 24 inches. So I just keep rolling, and then every now and then I'll peel back the parchment just to make sure it's not sticking anywhere. And I take a bench scraper that I've again sprayed really liberally. This is delicate dough. And I make sure that that rectangle is actually looking like a rectangle. This makes sure that when you roll up your dough, you'll have the edge cinnamon rolls that are just as good as the middle ones. Then once I have the shape I want out of the dough, I soften some butter and start to spread it all over. I probably could have softened my butter a little bit more, but I made do. Once I have my butter down, I add brown sugar to the dough. This is one of my favorite parts of making cinnamon rolls. There's something about making cinnamon rolls that's really homey and just therapeutic. I like the process almost as much as I like the taste. Once the brown sugar is all evenly spread out, I go in with a lot of cinnamon. I actually almost ran out, but I used the rest of my bottle here. Now I start the rolling process. This dough is too delicate to roll by hand, so I use the parchment to help me roll it over. I just lift and push away from me. You can kind of see it's getting thicker in the middle, so I just use my hands to spread it out evenly. I ended up losing a little bit of footage here, but I just rolled it until it was to the end. Then I cut it into 16 even pieces and divide it between 2 pans. They don't have to look perfect because they'll rise for another 20 minutes and they'll even out, and then they're going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes. And while they're baking, I make the cream cheese frosting. This starts with equal parts of butter, cream cheese, some vanilla, a dash of salt, some milk, and I start to mix that and get that well incorporated. My camera cut out the end of this clip too, but at this point I just add powdered sugar until it looks like this. It's a nice thick cream cheese frosting. And now for the moment we've all been waiting for, fresh out of the oven cinnamon rolls. While the rolls are still warm, I spread over a thick layer of the cream cheese frosting, and that'll melt into all the nooks and crannies. It's really delicious. And there you have it, gluten-free cinnamon rolls that can stand up to any traditional version. These really are worth a try. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you next time on Gluten-Free Gourmet.